Hello everyone. Today we're going to begin sketching out our Aboriginal Australian animal art. So we've been talking about the art of Australia and of the Aboriginal people, and we're going to really focus on choosing an animal and drawing the silhouette or the outline of that animal. So some examples of animals from Australia are things like the emu, kangaroo, kookaburra, koala, and snakes. And what I'd like you to do is, after you've practiced drawing that animal a few times, you're going to select your final paper. So I think for my example, I'm going to be using a black piece of paper. And you're going to draw that animal about the size of your hand in the center of this paper. I'm going to be using a white charcoal pencil for my animal. That way you can see the design show up on the camera. So for mine, I think I will do a kangaroo. And actually, I'm going to start in regular pencil. When you're drawing an animal you're not very familiar with, it's good to kind of look at the body shapes. Like, what shapes do you see when you look at the body? I might even want to move it over a little bit more so I have more room for that big tail. And when I'm starting to draw something new, I like to go kind of light and sketchy. And then I can kind of go over it a little more firmly with a pencil to try to draw and make my outline. So I will be tracing it in my white pencil just so I can see it real good in a second here. And then after you have your silhouette of your animal drawn, you can use an eraser, clean up any extra marks from your sketching. Don't forget, before we paint, we should flip it over, put our name and our class code. Okay. In keeping with our Aboriginal theme, we're going to be using dots to create the colors on our picture. So thinking about how we want the dot design to look inside our animal, and then how we want it to go around the outside. Are we going to create some shapes and designs in the background? Are you going to do just like that echoing line of dots that gets bigger and bigger and bigger? I think for mine, since I do have some negative space here, I'm going to do some circles. Circles are something that you would see in the Aboriginal designs. And then that kind of gives me a little bit of a starting off point to go on. You can even have designs go off the side of the paper as well. For colors, we're choosing very bright neon colors. I'm also going to be using white since my paper is dark. The white will show up very nice. And it's good to have a scratch piece of paper nearby. So I'm going to keep my sketchbook nearby because I want to practice making some dots before I start on my final paper. Now, one way to make dots is by using round brushes and just dipping them straight and then doing a dot, a straight up and down dot. So you could practice doing a few dots that way. And the different size brushes would create a different size dot. And if you just kind of tap lightly, you will get one. Pushing a little harder, you'll get a slightly bigger one. Another way to make a dot is by using the end of a paintbrush or even the end of an eraser. So I have a brand new pencil here with an eraser. I'm going to dip it. I might even kind of wipe a little bit of it off, and then I can dot. And an eraser, a brand new eraser, is going to make a really beautiful size circle. So your goal is to have a variety of sized dots, so from small to medium to a little bit larger, and also use a variety of colors as well. After you've practiced, you can start working on your design. I would start working on the animal first and then moving out to the background. I might do my larger dots first. And when you start to run out of paint, you just get a little bit more from your tray. Maybe kind of following the shape of the back, following the shape of the head, and then switching. Finish your animal first before moving on to the background. You want your animal to stand out at the end of this project. Your dot art might look something like this as you're getting closer to completion. You really want to focus on making sure that the silhouette is very visible in the busy dot background. In order to make it visible, I used a small white dot outline around it first, and then I took a blue dot outline around my kangaroo a second time. And then as you can see in the background, I used a combination of large, medium, and small dots to create circles, wavy lines, and then I ultimately filled in the rest of these open spaces with white dots. I hope you have fun making your Aboriginal inspired art, and I cannot wait to see which animal you choose.